In the view of the radical Democrats, America is the source of the world's problems. As a result, they believe the only path forward is to erase history and forget the past. They want to destroy the monuments of our forefathers. They want to disrespect our flag, burn the stars and stripes that represent patriotism and the American dream. They want to disrespect our national anthem by taking a knee while our armed forces lay down their lives every day to protect our freedom.
Eric Trump laid out what he says are threats from Democrats against the freedoms of our nation during his speech this week at the Republican National Convention. And he joins me now. Eric, thank you for joining us. Look, let's do big picture here. Let's talk about the comparison of the Democrats last week and the Republican message this week. Tell us what's different.
Well, the Democrats apologize for the greatness of America. They are a party that has swamp creatures. They've literally been there for, take Nancy Pelosi and take Joe Biden together. They've been in government for almost, 100 years. It's kind of an amazing thing to see, right? You look at our message on the other hand, right? It's a message that loves America, loves law enforcement, loves red, white, and blue, is unapologetic for the greatness of this great country. It's just a different message, Eric. And the Democrats are not the party of JFK anymore. This is a seriously radical party. I mean, Joe Biden wants to increase taxes by $4 trillion. They want to defund police. Kamala Harris, she was the author of the Green New Deal, but she's the one that came out and called ICE agents Gestapo and the KKK. I mean, these people are unrecognizable to Americans. And by the way, the most shocking thing, Eric, and I'll just kind of finish with this, is the people that they put up on stage at the DNC are the most unrelatable of those people. They are the people who have literally been the cause of this nation's problems, in kind of the White Halls of Washington, D.C. for the last, 4 or 5 decades. And they think that they're going to relate to the people of this country. And, we're very different. We have, everyday American speaking people who escaped communism and socialism. We had people who fished for lobsters because my father saved that industry in Maine. You saw what the tariffs were doing, the EU was doing to that industry, and so much more. You have real Americans on our stage, and we should be very proud of that.
That was one of the most stark contrasts that I saw. Every night of the DNC, they opened with the Hollywood elite. They talked, whomever it was, and then the difference being that you guys, the Republicans, were talking to real people, talking to Lobster Man. I mean, Lobster Man was just, geez, where did that come from? That was fantastic. It struck me also during the Democrat convention that they didn't bring any policy forward. It was all, Joe Biden's a great guy. He's got empathy. He's got compassion. He's had a tough life. What is a policy message from the Trump campaign and the Trump convention?
They didn't have any policy, Eric. I mean, they didn't have policy, and they don't have policy. They don't know what they stand, because there's so many different factions of the party. You have the socialist faction of the party, and then you have this faction of the party, and then you've got a little bit more centrist faction of the party, and they're all kind of at war. I mean, listen, my father's, message is very, very simple. He wants the greatest economy in the world. He wants the strongest military in the world. He wants school choice, right? He wants peace in the Middle East. He wants to take care of our veterans. He wants to take care of law enforcement. He wants the best equipment. He wants the Space Force, right? I mean, he wants technological innovation in terms of being able to defend our country from foes, the Chinas. He wants to be not ripped off by all the other countries in the world that have been ripping us off for years and years and years. China, Mexico, Vietnam, the European Union, right? I mean, that's what my father wants. And then he wants government to stay out of people's lives so they can live and they can love and they can enjoy and they can live the American dream. And that's polar opposite from who this other side is, who just apologizes to the world for America, who wants to increase your taxes, who wants to spend $90 trillion on the Green New Deal, taking care of China's environmental problems. And I mean, they don't even have a cohesive message. And by the way, you never saw an American flag behind any of those people in the DNC as they spoke. I mean, many of those people had beach towels and crap behind it. It was unbelievable. And last night we had the most beautiful stage. It really represented the best of America. It was glamorous. It was beautiful. And I think, again, I just think the contrast between the messages, but also the contrast between just the stage and the messaging. And God and red, white, and blue was just.
Yeah, that was omnipresent. I will give you that. You opened with God, and it was a theme throughout, and I think that may, well, yeah, you should say it probably resonates with the base. You know, Eric, just about a minute or so, you know, during the week, Melania made a speech, and the next day Bette Midler came out and made some nasty comments about Melania. Can you just weigh in on, you know, what is it with the Hollywood liberal elites that they'll actually attack family members on a personal level? It just blows me away.
The littlest people are often the loudest, Eric. I mean, that's kind of what I've always noticed in life. The littlest people are the loudest, and you have Bette Midler who criticized Melania for an accent. Yet Melania speaks 5 languages, and I guarantee you Bette Midler does not. Melania has accomplished a lot more in her life than she ever will. And you see how we're savagely attacked. I mean, Eric, you know our family better than anyone, and you see how my kids are attacked, and they're 1 and 3 respectively. I mean, there are savages on the other side. I mean, it's not everyone, but there are savages on the other side, and they know we're winning, and they know we have the right message, and they're desperate for a voice. And many of them are, quite frankly, like her, irrelevant at this point, and they want some notoriety and they want some fame, and they know if they say something outlandish, they'll probably make the papers and they'll probably be headlined on CNN, and it doesn't matter. I mean, America's so tuned out to Hollywood. They're so fake. They're phonies. I mean, their whole jobs, Eric, their whole jobs are acting. I mean, that's what these people do. They act. These aren't real people, and we're gonna beat them, and we'll have the final laugh. I promise you that. And my father will continue to make this country incredibly proud. All
right, we're gonna leave it there, Eric. I just want to point out that Melania Trump came on several stages with me talking about opioids around the country. We got so many calls thanking us that she was there because they had conversations with their children about the dangers of opioids, and likely Melania Trump saved lives. Bette Midler, I challenge you to show us one life you've ever saved. Anyway, Eric Trump, the Executive Vice President, Trump Organization, thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Eric.